Today the streamer, which revived a game on his own. Today we are going to talk about Clash Royale, a game which was at the edge of death until one particular streamer picked it up. Let's see. The game was on its downfall and hit an all-time low in active players. But then a video came up which skyrocketed the active player count in only a few months. Looking at the statistics, the growth is clear. The game experienced significant growth in 2025, with some metrics showing a 440% increase from October 2024 to November 2025. After that spike, analysts and longtime Clash Royale community trackers started to notice something unusual. This was not the typical short-term bump that follows an update, collaboration, or seasonal event. Historically, Clash Royale had experienced brief increases in player activity after major updates, but those increases usually stabilized or declined within weeks. This time, the curve behaved differently. Daily active users did not just rise, they stayed elevated, and in several regions continued to climb month after month. Matchmaking times shortened globally, clan participation metrics increased, and abandoned ladder tiers began filling again. This shift was visible not only in Supercell's internal data, but also in third-party tracking platforms, Google search trends, Twitch category analytics, and YouTube content performance related to Clash Royale. To understand why this happened, it is necessary to look at the state of the game before this growth phase. By mid to late 2024, Clash Royale was widely considered a declining title. Player retention was low, especially among veteran users. Progression changes, card level inflation, and monetization systems had created a gap between casual players and competitive players that many felt was impossible to bridge. Content creation around the game had become repetitive, with most high-performing videos focused on optimized decks, balance breakdowns, or professional-level gameplay that was inaccessible to the average viewer. As a result, organic discovery slowed down. New players rarely entered the ecosystem, and returning players had little incentive to stay. At the same time, live streaming culture on platforms like Twitch and Kick was shifting. Viewers were increasingly drawn to personality-driven streams rather than purely skill-based gameplay. High engagement streamers were able to revive interest in older or stagnating games simply by exposing them to new audiences who had never interacted with those titles before. Jinxie fit directly into this trend. His streams were not built around teaching mechanics or optimizing play, they were built around raw interaction, fast pacing, and exaggerated reactions. When Clash Royale appeared on his stream rotation, it was not presented as a competitive esport or a solved strategy game. It was presented as a volatile, unpredictable experience. This framing mattered. Viewers who had never played Clash Royale did not see a decade-old mobile game. They saw a high-stakes, reaction-driven competitive environment that worked well for short-form content. Clips extracted from these streams performed disproportionately well on TikTok and YouTube Shorts compared to traditional Clash Royale content. Engagement metrics showed higher completion rates, higher rewatch percentages, and stronger comment activity. These clips did not explain the game, they demonstrated its emotional payoff. That distinction lowered the barrier of interest. Viewers did not need prior knowledge to understand what was happening on screen. As Jinxie began encountering high-skill opponents, reacting to advanced mechanics, and referencing top players, names that were previously unknown to the broader audience started entering mainstream discussion. Players like Mohamed Light, widely regarded as one of the most consistent and dominant competitors in Clash Royale history, gained exposure beyond the traditional esports audience. Mohamed Light's ability to maintain elite performance across metas, balance changes, and competitive formats became a point of discussion among viewers who had never followed professional Clash Royale before. His consistency, often described in competitive circles as unmatched, stood in contrast to the chaotic, reaction-driven gameplay Jinxie was known for, creating a clear distinction between entertainment-focused play and professional-level mastery. Similarly, players like Riley, known for high-risk, mechanically demanding plays and unconventional decision-making, gained visibility through this renewed attention. Clips of precise predictions, last-second outplays, and unconventional win conditions began circulating more frequently, not as niche competitive content, but as highlight-worthy moments shared alongside mainstream streaming clips. This helped reframe Clash Royale as a game with a high skill ceiling rather than a purely casual experience. For many viewers, this was the first time they realized that Clash Royale had a competitive layer comparable to traditional esports titles. This shift also affected player behavior. Returning and new players were no longer engaging solely with casual modes. Many began experimenting with meta decks, watching professional gameplay for reference, and participating more actively in ranked play. Clan discussions increasingly reference professional players and high-level strategies, indicating a deeper engagement with the game's competitive structure. This change in behavior contributed to longer session times and improved retention among players who might otherwise have disengaged after a short period. In effect, Jinxie opened a door that had previously been closed to most of the player base. He did not create the competitive scene, but he made it visible by exposing millions of viewers to both the emotional volatility of casual play and the precision of professional gameplay. He expanded the perceived scope of what Clash Royale could be. This expansion played a crucial role in transforming the game's resurgence from a temporary spike in interest into a broader re-engagement with its competitive ecosystem.